Welcome to another episode of Haunting the Haunted podcast with Sid, Joe, and David. And we are scrambling for topics, but since Jason, wrong person, think about Jason for Twin City, but Joe and Sid have a lot on their plate to talk about for this episode. So I'll leave it to you guys to fill the hour.
So mine's just incessant rambling on the things they make. Why is it always me first?
Ladies first.
Sorry, someone's going by on a bike with a speaker. It's warm and there's a nice breeze, so the windows are open. So that's lovely. Just gonna mute for a second. Hold on.
Well, Joe, I guess you go first.
All right. Okay. So last Monday and Tuesday, I literally got to go with again to film on the trail of the Nephilim with Zuli Fritz Zimmerman. We basically just convoyed around Ohio and went to the Nephilim mounds that they believe Native Americans are buried in these mounds. So as a researcher, I go to these mounds. I don't have a lot on my plate. I basically just take off. I got them all around where I live at. So I usually just take off and I go out and I collect data, which is high EMF, temperature changes, different things like that people wouldn't believe or see or whatever. Like I really had a device. I had a millimeter actually at the Jacksontown Mound at one point in time go down to that actually had to go down to freezing in an 85-degree weather. 85-degree weather. And the Circle Mound out there in Ohio, which they believe that is very, very active. Also, it's I actually at one point in time got to go down to the temperature go down to 30 degrees on an 80-degree day.
Holy shit!
There's absolutely no reason for this. I mean, there's nothing like, it's not like I stick an ice cube, I don't pack it in ice and actually have it go down to 30 degrees and then say that is, I usually just like stick it on the mound. And if you ask it to do stuff like it sometimes it just dramatically just drop like that for absolutely no reason. So David has the pictures of the mounds. I sent them to him, and there's some that are actually active, and then there's some that are not. But we have around where I live, we actually have these mounds that are active, and some of them are ungodly human or not ungodly humongous. I mean, it's just incredible how big these mounds are. Like the Stone Mound, we literally had to hike all the way up these hills to film these. As you can see in back of this building right here, I heard a lot of feedback.
Yeah, your audio.
Back of the, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just a little rough, but we're managing. We're managing.
Anyways, in back of the mound here, in back of the building right here, that's part of a mound at one point in time. Looks like they ripped half the mound out.
And right there's cause for paranormal activity. Just from doing that.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
So you're saying that these mounds have Indian burials then?
That's what they're believing. I mean, they collect artifacts out of there or whatever, different things like that. And they're also saying that these mounds were not built or made by Native Americans. The Native Americans say they have absolutely nothing to do with this.
Interesting.
So is it extraterrestrial? Is it, what is it? Who knows? Don't know what it is. It's been around for centuries and centuries and centuries.
I remember being taught about like the serpent mounds and things.
Yeah.
And back in school, all the way back in middle school, we were learning about that. And
Yes.
it's always been such a big part of Ohio history. And to be able to investigate those kinds of things is actually pretty awesome.
So L.A. Marzulli and Fritz Zimmerman told me to get a team together, which I got 2 other people to join. We basically just convoyed around Ohio for the past 2 days, filming for On the Trail of Nephilim. If you go on, if you look up L.A. Marzulli on YouTube, he's got all kinds of stuff. He talks about how these giants they believe that the giants were buried there, or Indian, or like deceased Indians, whatever, or Native people. They have elongated heads, and they would stand 9 to 10 feet tall.
I think I've read about like skeletons. It could have just been a spoof article because it's the internet, but I've read or seen these big skeletons with people trying to excavate them and all that, and I'm like, is that edited?
No, they actually have excavated bones that are 8 to 9 to 10 feet tall, which they have actual proof of these people.
See,
that's insane.
That's the good stuff right there.
So it's pretty amazing. I would like to see them myself. Of course, I haven't. I've only seen pictures. But the producer actually went to a house when we were in Homer, Ohio, and actually seen artifacts from these mounds that some guy has in his house.
Seeing that's always the cool stuff too, because again, I read about it when we were way young, but we all know history books lie all the time. So what is real, what's not, is always a good question.
Okay, in this picture right here, the guy in the red shirt, I believe it was red, it could have been pink. I think it was red, but he's a book author on giants. His name is Fritz Zimmerman. Very intelligent man. Me and him we contact each other all the time, and he'll be like, I need you to go here. I need you to go here. I need you to go here. And then basically I go and collect data for him. The guy in the middle is L.A. Marzulli. He's the smartest guy I freaking know. He can tell you anything about anything, and if you say this, he will basically he'll put you to work. He'll try to say what makes you think that. Where did you read that? When did you see that? Well, and then he'll give you he'll be like, well, he's like, I got he goes, I got other saying that this happened and this has happened and it. We got to find out what's the truth about whatever, So he's been doing this for years and years and years, and he'll come out to Ohio and he'll get a hold of me and say, I need you on my team. So, of course, that's me right there next to him. But it's a pretty awesome thing. I mean, it's basically in the same line as what we do in paranormal investigating. He doesn't understand. He doesn't know what a paranormal team is. He don't know anything about ghost hunting. He don't know anything about he doesn't know anything about a paranormal team. Basically, you got to look at it like this. Like I told him before, you are a paranormal team. This is what you do. You go and try to find evidence. You try to, it's all in the same line of what we do, but he does it. He's got a lot more money than us.
It's kind of interesting though, because it's the same way at Skinwalker Ranch. You have this team of, scientists that bring in occasional paranormal investigators just to help me out. What's going on here? I don't understand. And then we're like, well, This is what we have to offer. This is what we can do for you. But I mean, be ready to understand some really weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these two guys right here, they go beyond what we do. I mean, we could go into a public place and investigate and come out with EVPs or whatever. These guys go beyond what we do. Other than just getting EVPs or trying to catch shadows, whatever. It's like they try to collect data around all these mounds. And it's really hard to do, but it's so cool.
The soil types.
It's so awesome.
And I'm assuming different samples from different places and running up against normal things.
Like we had a bunch of experts, like book authors out there. We had land surveyors, all kinds of stuff like out there, and it was pretty awesome. I mean, I met a lot of interesting people. So it was really great. I mean, the last time we did it, see, I have an Ovilus. In the last one, when I was in episode 3, on the Trail in Nephilim in 2018, 16 or something like that. I had an Ovilus, so we had the Ovilus set up, and we actually had spirits talking through the Ovilus.
Oops.
I think it kind of spooked him. So he told me, it's like, don't use the Ovilus this time. I think it kind of spooked him a little bit.
The Ovilus is a good tool. We've gotten some good stuff off of it.
Yeah.
The ones, let me change it.
But that being out there, see, that's Homer Mound. I know it looks like nothing but a bunch of big trees or whatever, but there is a mound behind all those trees. They don't. Homer Mound in Homer, Ohio.
Gotcha.
That what you're seeing right there with all those trees and foliage and stuff like that is an actual mound.
Now, how
so you
tall?
would think those trees are humongous. That mound is a pretty big mound. That mound is, I mean, those trees on there are not that big.
So they're like saplings almost.
It's just crushed. Huh?
Like tiny baby trees.
Yeah, they're not humongous or anything like that. I mean, you have a few of them that are, maybe 8 feet tall, maybe 7 feet tall, but believe me, that is a mound right behind there. If you was to drive by it during the summertime, you would never know that's a mound. They don't clean it up. They didn't clean it up, so we went to this mound, and it's really cool.
Now, is the theory that the giants of the Nephilim would be buried in those mounds, or is it just like what are you finding with those?
Well, they believe that like the Native Americans would bury them in those mounds. So the giants also, they believe that the giants, for some reason, they're finding 8, 9 foot 10 skeleton remains or whatever in these mounds. They believe they are there too. So the Native Americans get buried in these mounds also. But they're uncovering skeleton remains of something that's 8, 9 foot tall, 10 foot tall.
Oh shit!
It's pretty insane.
Just a little bit. And I think it's really cool too, because like coming from learning about this in school to seeing actual pictures that you took is definitely interesting.
Yeah, this picture right here. Yeah, this picture I took right here. This is across the street from the mound. This is a cemetery. If you look at that tree right there, you can see it only has just that one little branch of leaves on it. The rest of it is all dead. So they believe that what I heard. What are the skeletons? The skeletons they believe, are giants, 9 to 10 foot tall. They have elongated heads, almost nothing you would see like in these time or day, and they're excavating bones that are just ginormous. It's insane, but they're from the Nephilim, which they believe fallen angels and giants and stuff like that. It's all in the Bible.
We all know the Bible has
it's
interesting take on things, though.
I have seen somewhere that they've been finding evidence that the Bible may be true. And then it's just not just stories in one book kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big religious person whatsoever, but what he's bringing to the table, they believe that giants roam this earth like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, and that's how they got these mounds. That's how when they excavate stuff, they pull out Indian artifacts, stuff like that. But they're excavating bones that are just humongous, almost like bigger than like Sasquatch. So it's pretty interesting. But this right here, this is the graveyard across the street from the Homer Mound. It also used to tie into the Homer Mound. It washed away back a long time ago. If you get a drone and you fly it over the cemetery, you could see where the mounds were at one point in time. You could see the circles and the octagons and stuff like that inside this cemetery. It's pretty insane. I wish I knew how to fly a drone, and I wish I have a drone, but I don't. But if you fly it over this cemetery right here, you could see where this mounds used to be, but they washed away. So it's pretty incredible. And I'm sure David's got better pictures of the mounds. See, that's part of the cemetery there also. So, of course, this cemetery has been here for God knows how long. They said it's been over 200 years since this cemetery's been here.
That sounds like a hunt to go in a cemetery, because I love, was it taphilophile? I think that's the word. Love going to photograph and just take chalk rubbings and try to figure out what the oldest headstone is in the yard.
Yeah.
At least from the ones that you can tell.
Yep. But it's really interesting what we do. And this is on a film shoot at Legend Valley. Okay, this Legend Valley is a concert venue. So the owner of Legend Valley, he was kind enough to let us go to the Stone Mound, which is a hike. I mean, you're walking up a hill like this, all the way up this hill. Then you get to the Stone
Mound. Like a regular
Mound.
Pittsburgh.
Huh? Say again?
That's like a regular day of walking in Pittsburgh. Everything's like this.
Yeah. Right. Well, this is up a dirt trail, all the way up the dirt trail. And when you get up there, it's nothing but a big mound with like a bunch of stones like everywhere. I mean, just like rocks and whatever. And it's been there for God knows how long. Yeah. Actually, when I was on, that's a circle mound out here in Newark, Ohio. You can see the different little mounds right there. They're all through. They're all through the circle mound out there. Plus, it has moats around these mounds. They believe that water was inside these like little moats at one point in time back in the day. It used to hold water, which was, I mean, it's deep. If you fall in it, you're going to hurt yourself. That's how deep it is. So.
Oh wow.
But yep. But the mounds are pretty awesome. That's what I do during the wintertime. When I'm on break, I'll go out there and I will. So there are smaller mounds, but the ones we were investigating are ginormous mounds. I mean, it's, you look at it and go, do I want to walk up there? No. Because it's so big. They're so big. There you go. There's one right there. That's Jacksontown Mound.
Now, like
out here in.
Has there been any attempts to like X-ray the inside of it?
I'm sorry, that's in Marietta. Huh? That's in Marietta.
Like, has there been any attempts to X-ray the inside of the mounds, try to get in there, see what's in there without disturbing anything?
Well, see, that's the thing, though. I don't know if you really can, right? I mean, the only thing you could really do is try to. I know people have excavated it and pulled out, like I said, like the bones and different stuff like that, artifacts and stuff like that in these mounds. The thing is, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I don't want to be put in jail or anything, but he believes if you disturb these mounds too much, because he believes what these mounds are is supposed to be an evil entity, evils, like have evil spirits in it, different stuff like that. There's nothing good in these mounds. If it's active, it's something that shouldn't be there. Like it could hurt you. So
I think
he tries to be.
Sorry.
Huh?
Go ahead. I said no. I was going to say that's something that we should try and challenge it. And but
well,
ahead.
Yeah, and so he basically wants to be. He wants to be careful as possible, so we're not pissing something off to make it active enough to hurt somebody. So
And
there's Jackson. There's another mound right here. I mean, this is what we did. We went to these mounds and we collected data from these mounds. It's just not dirt, rocks, and crap like that. They believe that there is stuff in these mounds that should not be there.
well, that's the thing.
That's
too,
why we
is we're
believe
not
that Newark, Ohio is so active.
I could believe it.
Do
But
what?
that's what's interesting, though, is that we're not going to know until we get in there. So I've seen people go as far as it's some kind of instrumentation that shoots radio waves or shoots vibrations down and can do like a sonograph type deal through and through. So I mean, understandably, you're finding some interesting readings and things like that, but and I hate to keep going back to Skinwalker Ranch, but we have to look at it from a scientific point of view too. Sometimes you gotta agitate a little bit to try to figure out what in the hell is even going on. because a lot of it could just be, again, I don't doubt that you've gotten crazy readings. I don't doubt that, there's some weird shit going on. But does it have to do with, the Bible or whatever stories, was written down by man during all that crazy time? Does it have to do with, the ancient Egyptians even writing down things that don't make any sense, but for some odd reason we're starting to find evidence of it? I mean, sometimes you gotta agitate a little bit to figure out what's going on. And I mean, again, I'm the last one that would want to tear up an Indian burial ground. I'm the last one that would want to mess with any of that kind of stuff. But we won't know until we know. And you've got to do some sketchy stuff to science to find out. People have blown their arms off figuring things out for science. People have radiation burns, all that. That's part of the scientific theory, is testing every possible outcome.
Well, on Lee's Mound, we went on a guy's property, and they took a bobcat or whatever it was up there, and they started digging on Lee's Mound on the top, right? They started digging because they had one of those metal detectors up there, and they were collecting data from that. And whatever they hit on something that was odd, they would dig in the spot. And a lot of times there was nothing in there. But as I was on the base of the mound on the back side, they were pissing something off. Because my instruments that was on that mound was just going crazy. Like, what are they doing up there? Why are you guys doing this? And they were not happy they were doing that up there. And then finally they ended up stopping. They put it all back together or whatever. But I literally got the temperature on Lee's Mound to drop a whole degree on command. It was 76.9 degrees. I actually got to go to 75.9 degrees on command on an 80-some degree day.
See,
it was crazy.
I'd want to cut into it. I'd want to know what's on the inside. Even just to get into one of them. Whether, you have people at the ready to, I don't want to say exercise, but if that has to be done, it's like having an EMT on standby. I mean, we got to do some
and plus the thing is, though, you can't be digging in those mounds. That's protected by the state.
Yes, but if it wasn't, that's what we would have to do. Again, I keep going back to Skinwalker Ranch. Someone to purchase that land and do something privately with it, which of course is never going to happen. But that's what we would need to do to find out what's in there.
Well, luckily we actually got to go to a person's property that the mound was on his property, on Lee's Mound, and they took that bobcat up there on that mound and started digging. And whatever was there, it pissed them off. We caught SLS footage on there, up there on top of the mound, everything. Like, Fritz Zimmerman walked over next to this. We had this figure that was standing there, and he was like, "Can you touch me? Can you touch my hand? Whatever." And then it started touching him. It was like very intelligent, like touching him, whatever. And they would leave, and they would come back, then leave, and come back. So we were disturbing something, but he didn't push his luck to where we were in danger. Let's put it that way. He believes that if you push your luck too much on those mounds right there, that something could seriously bad happen to you.
It's the collateral damage.
Pretty interesting. So I agree with you. As long as I've been doing these mounds or whatever, I have never had anything bad happen to me. I've actually literally collected data that was very strange. Like I said, when I was at the Circle Mound, I literally cut on an 85-degree day or 80-degree day. I actually got my meter to drop the temperature to 30 degrees. 30 degrees on one of these mounds. It's insane. There's nothing wrong with my meter. Nothing. Jacksontown Cemetery on the mound right there is a gigantic mound in front of a church. I actually got the temperature to drop down below freezing on a summer day. There's no reason for it. Very strange. So
I cannot wait till we can
dowsing
just-
rods, like the
What about-
dowsing rods. You
Uh-huh.
go out there with the dowsing rods. If you start asking questions, it'll point. It's like, where's the burial site? Who's buried here? Where is the burial? Point where it asks questions, it'll cross for yes. Stuff like, I mean, whatever's up there is like intelligent enough to answer your questions and actually do things that you ask it to do.
Interesting. I'm going to assume I heard most of it because your mic cut out pretty badly. But yeah, definitely
It might be
interesting.
the internet here. I don't know. But yeah, you get some dowsing rods and you go out there and you start asking questions and you get answers with the rods. Yeah.
All right, so you ready for your fish thing looking toy?
Listen, you wanted updates on things, and that's what I'm giving you. Like I said, it's just going to be a conglomerate of a bunch of garbage. So I hope y'all appreciate it.
All right, so your thing is up, ready for you to take over.
Yep, my back hurts. Sorry. Okay, so one of the things we use whenever we're paranormal investigating is, cat toys. We usually have a cat ball, which is, a little tiny thing. Most of you crazy cat ladies will have it. You push the ball in, you let it sit there though until it goes still, and we can talk to spirits and be like, hey, if there's someone here, can you touch the ball? It'll light up in really pretty colors. And a lot of times it'll happen during these investigations and things. And I wanted to go a little bit extra because I'm an extra person. And my uncle gifted this to me right before he passed away. And so now this is Albert the fish, and this is our newest investigator.
So, what we're gonna do, I was gifted this by a very special person. And for the next ghost hunt, hey, if you're there, can you interact with this? Could you guys fucking imagine?
Oops, sorry.
This is coming with us in every hunt now. I hope you guys are happy. I am bringing along the best equipment and only the best. Look at this pure piece of quality.
So that's Albert. So I actually used him for the first time at the Gill House. And we had a couple interactions, but the Gill House that night was also super quiet. Maybe because there was only 3 of us in there, maybe because we were new there, but we got a couple good things off of that. And then
Is it in the same line as a cat toy?
Yeah, it is a cat toy. It's just if something touches it or if something vibrates it or anything, it just flops around. And again, like there's something hilarious about being in a dark, scary room by yourself, and all of a sudden a fish is just flopping up and down on the floor. So I take Albert with me everywhere I go now. Application window. Pop this up.
My dog wants to be on the stream.
My dog came in here too.
It's all right. I've got
Alright.
my roommate's cat, and he's brilliant. If he hears us out on the front porch, he'll push at the door handle and jiggle it, and then he'll just stare at you from the glass until you let him in. And I refuse to let him in while I'm streaming anymore.
My puppy doggy wants to be on the stream. It's not getting any attention.
Way to go. All right, I got some pictures from the Gill house. So Joe will be able to walk us through this a little bit too, because he knows the Gill house way better than what we do. Is it up?
Looks like it's
Nope.
loading.
Oh, it's loading. Hold on. Let me try this. Here's our guaranteed technical difficulty for the stream, besides the audio issues. Application
As
window.
always.
Share. Okay. That should work now.
Oh, hang on. There he goes.
There it is. All right. So number one, when you go to the Gill house, it's freaking beautiful. This is the only cherub that was put into the house, and the fact that its little peeling paint was in there. I think my favorite thing to do during investigations is take the pictures. I know that's one of Tara's favorite things to do too. I think turning her and I loose was the worst thing you could possibly have done.
Yeah, there's no game plan. You just grab and go.
So then, Joe, this is the very front door entrance, correct?
Yes, it is.
Heck yeah. So off of one of these was that awesome
The
kitchen.
men's part.
Go ahead.
What I was told, the men's parlor is where the blue room is, and the green room is where the woman's parlor is.
Okay, gotcha. I was going to Greenville Manor for a second, and I'm like, that's definitely not a funeral parlor, Sydney. That's not a funeral parlor. And we've got, oh, yep, Albert on his first investigation at that grand staircase.
That's the grand staircase.
Yep, and then what was fun about this investigation is people back then were much shorter than I am. I'm 6'1" on a good day, and behind the grand staircase is the bathroom we had to use. And trying to navigate those little corners in this tiny little bathroom, I'm like, oh no, I feel so fucking tall, and just it was a lot of fun, especially because of how hot it was in there when we went. Whew, that was definitely a fun time.
If you want to talk about the door that's up there.
The door that's up there.
In that the last picture.
The staircase one?
There you go.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
split.
Oh, yeah, how it was split up for two different apartments or two different living areas?
That's when the Talbot family used to live there.
Gotcha.
What?
Okay.
Wasn't it like a feud between two families and they had to block it off
Yes.
or something like that?
Yes. So Grandma Talbot lived up on the second floor, which she was not a fan of Dean Talbot. Dean Talbot was the second owner of the Gill house. So that was his mother-in-law, and they were not happy with each other, apparently. And she had her own room, and that's how she got up in her own entrance. Because right up that staircase right there is a door.
A very jarring.
It
definitely doesn't belong there.
Right, and exactly. And her room was off. When you walk up there, you go to the right. Her room was in that one room by the makeshift kitchen. If you go out,
she was the only guaranteed death in the house, wasn't she, or was that someone else?
Yes, absolutely, yes. Only guaranteed death. She died in that room.
Yep.
In that bedroom.
So I'm trying to think. And then right above here, where these little stands are, was this incredibly beautiful window that would like open over the staircase. And I guess some kids at one point actually broke those windows And that was enough heartbreak for me at that point. And I looked at her and I was like, I can't believe someone would come in to this house that you are letting them into, and they would do anything to even think about harming anything in there.
Destructive people, man.
It's terrible, man. I don't understand.
Yeah, and
Trying
we missed their Harrison Ford birthday party the end of July or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
So we missed that one.
And I had a lot of stuff going on. I wanted to go, but I was like, I got too much.
I kind of forgot until now, so
And see, when we first went in, too, this is one of the very first things I was drawn to were all his trophies. And come to find out, he was a diver.
Very athletic kid, yes.
Yeah, he. I guess he did some competitions all over the place, and these are the different trophies he brought home.
He
People don't
ended
know
up
how to
in the Navy.
swear. In
I
the
know
Navy.
you were
That's,
I know you were geeking out about his tuxedo in his trunk in the living room.
Because that was incredible that it was still there. Okay. It was, I remember she opened it up and my hands were on my face and I'm like, that is absolutely incredible. He was so tiny, but so dapper. And I think
yeah, we're talking about Jimmy Gill. That's
yes.
his trophies are in the tuxedo. Yes.
And at one point, me and Tara were doing something with the spirit box, I think it was. And I told her, because again, I was obsessed with the stinking suit. I was like, this looks amazing. You probably look so good on your guys' wedding day. And you could hear a laugh on the spirit box and a thank you. And I just sat there with Tara and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that was when we had that conversation building their house with the blueprints, how I had to sit there and kind of tap into a more residual type haunt as opposed to an intelligent. Again, I don't know if it was just because we were new there that we had such a different experience from Joe, but it was still a really, really cool experience overall. And then here's
Jimmy must have been there that night.
Oh, he was a stinking sweetheart. And we actually had a female voice come in a couple times too. And me and Tara sat in that room and pretended like we were just talking to a couple and we were showing a house too. And that was when we got the absolute most activity, the most interaction. Everything was so stinking. I think that's the best part about going to these house haunts, especially actually any old building. Everything is just so stinking pretty.
See,
Always got
the tiles on that the tiles on the fireplace right there. I don't know if Jane told you or not, which Jane Palmer Baker is the caretaker of the house.
She's a stinking sweetheart.
Those tiles on that fireplace are original.
Yep. She did mention
those are original tiles.
There's a lot of original stuff in there, and it was just I kept looking at David and Tara. I'm like, this place is so pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Oh,
but
man,
did you see the picture of the guy with the beard right there? If you go back to the last picture, see the guy with the beard right there next to the children?
Yep.
That is Bloomer Gill's father. And the kids are right there. The 4 kids right there. Mm-hmm. Those are all the kids that the Gills had right there. Jimmy, I want to say Myra. I can't remember all their names now.
I put you on the spot.
I've been going there for so long, I forget their names. Yeah. So they actually got a photo of a man back from very, very long time ago. What I was told by Jane in back of that fireplace when they were cleaning it out. And this only happened like they found this photo maybe a year or two ago.
The house just I messed that up. The house that just keeps giving.
Yes. Very interesting. Very interesting.
So I think there's just something so fascinating about, number one, I'm already nosy. I like looking in people's houses just to see. But like to go into a time capsule house is something very, very different. And that's why I think I like
that place. It really is.
All right. So a lot of, or I don't think, was it the last episode? I don't know. It might have been the episode before that. But I had mentioned I was bleaching a deer skull. And for those of you watching on, YouTube or whatever it is you're seeing visually, awesome, you can see it. But those of you listening somewhere else, I'm so sorry that you can't see how awesome I am. But this is everything I do myself. My best friend actually gave me the skull, and I just cleaned it up a little bit. Those are hand-dried flowers. Everything I do, I try to make 100% myself. And these are just the things that sit. Whoops! What did I just do? These are the different things that sit on my table while I'm out doing my stuff. We said we were just going to fill this in with whatever, so welcome to my dumping post of the things I do. So yeah, this was me at the fair the other week. I sold out of all my necklaces, but I'm making new ones, so don't worry for anyone coming to the next couple of fairs. Let's see what else I made. My little offering tray with some of the best stones from the Spellcraft cabinet. If any of you guys are friends with Sam Spellcraft or anyone, go to her stuff. She always has the best stuff. She's the only one I buy rocks from anymore, really. We also, that's more Gilhouse stuff. Boop, boop. Also, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I'm flicking through everything so quickly. There we go. So I do photography too. So if anyone's watching that needs spooky photography done or anything, just let me know. But there's an up close on some of my jewelry. That is a hand gold foiled love jar that I made. I'm sold out of those, but if anyone wants more, I can make some. There's Albert again. And then this is what else I did recently. So special effects makeup artist on top of everything. So, but again, if anyone's looking to book anything, I do just about everything. I got a hand in too many things. And that's just tissue paper, latex, and some patience. So yeah, I'm making a whole bunch of stuff. David mentioned earlier that, things might get a little crazy with Halloween weekends, which is a very good possibility. But before I go into what I made for Halloween weekends, and if I can even use it, here is my little lantern that I made. That's a real bird skull on the top, which I will never do again because that thing was so stinking thin. I will never, ever do another bird skull. But something else that people might not know whenever I'm sitting down during these things is I'm a little bit crippled, all right? Can't walk the greatest. And I call it VIC, very important cripple parking, whenever I have to use my placards. But Halloween weekends, you walk around a whole lot. You do a bunch of stuff. So I made arm extenders, essentially. So I'm typically in a wheelchair, which is fine. But I want to be able to walk around still, too. So here's my new crutches.
Oh, my gosh.
They're forearm crutches. I'm planning on having a sleeve that comes down to kind of hide the rest of it. And then I just made these long, ridiculous arms out of a hurricane, essentially. And I used some pool noodles to thicken it up and give it a forearm. And I got 2 of those suckers. So that is hopefully what I will be using for Halloween weekends. Even if I'm not using it for Halloween weekends, dope. I've got new props that I can walk around with and not have to worry about falling. So that's going to be some good stuff. So if you're at Halloween weekends and you see some crazy lady with long arms coming after you, just know it's me.
Looks like something just came out of the Stranger Things.
Probably, yeah. I, as an artist, you don't really know what you're doing 90% of the time, 99% of the time, I'd say. You just got to start. And you just got to start and keep hoping for the best. And eventually it'll look pretty decent, I think. I used eyeshadow and lip gloss and a bunch of other things on this, and then I just sealed it up with Mod Podge, and yeah, I now have elongated arms to walk around with, and that's going to look utterly terrifying, and I'm excited. If I'm not making grown adults pee themselves, is it even worth it?
Well, if they have those dumb spook necklaces that you can't
They
scare
do.
them, then
They do. But that's a very small percentage. And just because the kid has one on doesn't mean I can't go for their parents. I usually give the kids high fives for even being brave enough to walk through those areas because I was terrified when I was younger. You couldn't have paid me enough to go through those. And I'll like get down on squat and I'm like, hello, sweet thing. And of course, I'm wearing like a burlap sack over my face. I've got black contacts in that black out my entire eye. And I'm just like, hello, children. How are you today? And a lot of times their parents will actually grab them by their arms and like push them towards one of us, which I think is one of the best parts. It's like child sacrifice. But still can't talk about the new stuff going on at Halloween weekends. But we're getting closer and closer, and they're going to start announcing stuff here soon. So just bear with us. It's going to be much different thing. I'm actually going on Sunday to do something pretty crazy for them. So it'll be an interesting season. So if anyone's watching, if anyone has a Cedar Point pass, even if you don't, we run sales. Definitely come out and see us because I'm excited for what's going to happen. And I've been doing this for almost 5 years and I've never been this excited before a season. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
the first day of Halloween weekends is September what?
September, it's not the first weekend, but it's not the last weekend. So I'll be there for opening weekend, but I won't be there for the second weekend. Where the heck is my calendar? That's a calculator, Sydney. That's a calculator. So that should be starting the 9th, the 16th. It might be the 9th. No, because I think it's the 16th because I was upset that I was going to miss opening night because of Twin City, but I don't think it's... I think I'm good because I'd be really sad if I miss opening weekend. September 15th, yes. So September 15th is the first night of Halloween weekends. It'll be a Thursday. And I will for sure be there. So if anyone's there, opening weekend might be a little bit crazy, but that's okay because we all know that you're there for the monsters, not the rides. I'll probably be up in the ballroom too, so I'm probably going to be taking my spirit box too because the Cedar Point Ballroom is one of the oldest still standing buildings there, and Frank Sinatra has actually played in that building, and the floor is original, everything's original in there, and it's so strange because where I sit in Haunt Central is you can look out and you can just... Again, it's interesting for me because I'm trying to reteach myself. Was I seeing some kind of weird psychic thing, or am I just really good at visualizing? But you can watch people twirl on the ballroom, and it's just the whole area is incredible. The stage is still there, everything. Only thing that's awful about that building is the stinking bathrooms. The doors for the bathroom, if you're standing straight up, I can look over the doors. All the bathroom stalls are super, super short, and it makes it really interesting when we're all in there trying to change into our costumes and trying to deal with the heat in Haunt Central because there's no AC, obviously. It's such an old building. But super stoked. Anyone has any time to go to Halloween weekends, definitely do it this year.
All right. So for your business, what's your openings looking like for a reading?
I'm open for any private readings you got. Just shoot me a text message because I won't answer your phone call. I'll think you're a telemarketer. But like I said, I'm open for private readings up until the last weekend in July. And that's when I'll be at the Sandusky County Fair. I'll be running the booth in the main merchant tent. So exactly where Corpse or Clyde Paranormal, now Corpse, was last year's where I'll be. Also, my best fair friend is going to be there. She's going to have the pink zebra stuff, and it all smells so stupid good. My husband always yells at me whenever I go to Walmart and start sniffing those ones, and he's like, are you cheating on Rachel right now? And I'm like, listen, I'm allowed to smell them, okay? I'm allowed to sniff. I'm not buying them. Sorry, I'm living on a busy street. But like I said, I'll be at the fair, and then we've got Twin City the second weekend in September, and then I'll be doing readings, and I'm now a public speaker at Two Realm Paranormal's event for the B&O Railroad in September. So I've got some pretty good things to keep me busy for the next couple of months.
Question: do you
Answer.
have remote readings available where
Yes.
anybody can? Okay.
I do, yeah. So I do readings over video chat typically, but there's something different about being in person. I will absolutely do readings over, over the internet. That's what I was trying to say. But it's just something a little bit different. But yeah, like I said, if there's nothing else for you to do, I can definitely do that. But I usually prefer to try to do it in person. Mostly because people need a hug afterwards. So I want to be able to get a hug when things aren't looking good.
Joe, your turn.
Yeah, I got I got Post Town Paranormal Academy coming up. And what is it? The 16th, 17th? Coming up in September. Gotta say this, okay? All these other places and all these other people thinking they're coming up with these academies ever, that me and 3 other people actually made this up or whatever, and now people are copying off of what we're doing. Shame on you. I'm not going to throw names out or anything like that, but shame on you. You could have called it a school. You could have called it a university or something like that. But when you call it an academy, you start copying off of us. And you know who you are. If you guys would like to know, I'll tell you guys later off camera. But shame on you guys for taking stuff that we put together with our own minds. And that's all I got to say about that, because one of them is a very popular person in the paranormal field, which took it from my page. And same with the location, took it from my page. So shame on you. That's all I got to say. If you're watching and you know who you are. But anyways, so yeah, I'll let you all know. But got the Gill House Public Ghost Hunt coming up in October. Then I believe I got one more Paranormal Academy coming up also with Brian J. Cano and Beth Deering and Bill Squires. So after that, I'm going to take a break because I'm pretty much
tapped out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
yeah, Twin City, 4 weeks starting tomorrow. 4 Saturdays from tomorrow, we are in Twin City. So your invite is still open. Jason Meadows, his invite is still open, which I believe he's going to tag along. You can follow Corpse, or the actual name is Contacting Other Realms of the Paranormal Spectrum, and New Work Paranormal Society on all social media platforms: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can also find our show on other podcast platforms such as Podbean, Anchor, Samsung Podcast, iHeart Radio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM. which I am still waiting for Pandora, and we are going to be on Pandora sometime. So you can join our Facebook group at Hunting the Haunted, and where you can interact with the hosts, give your future topics for future shows, have your questions answered, share your stories, etc. If you want to be a supporter of the show, go to patreon.com/hunting the haunted. I think that's basically it for today.
Yep.